Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Vince of Gaming. In the last episode, we started A Link to the Past, one of my favorite Zelda games of all time, and we rescued Princess Zelda out of Hyrule Castle, and now we've been sent on a quest to collect the three pendants. So the first dungeon is the Eastern Palace, so let's get to it. This palace is this palace can be beaten in like 5 minutes, like no cap there. Now there is a secret in this part that I wasn't aware of. As you can obviously tell with that theme, I wasn't aware of many things. But it's always useful to find out about stuff you didn't know about games you grew up with because it makes the game a lot more enjoyable, in my opinion. Because I feel like the less you know about a game, well, I mean, if you're playing it for the very first time, it doesn't really matter as much, but if you've been playing the game a lot and you just discover something that you didn't know before, I think it makes the game a lot more interesting because it makes it a lot more easier. So, I recently learned some new tricks with this game because I am learning to speedrun it. So in this room you can do that, and then... So pretty much what I did was I entered the room, I went to the right here, oops, didn't mean to exit the room. I picked up this first pot right here, I aligned myself here, and I threw the first pot where the first skeleton would spawn, which is right here. And then the second skeleton spawns right there, so I picked up this pot and threw it at it, and that can make you exit the room a lot more faster. Of course, I won't be doing that the whole time, because I haven't learned the whole route, but I'm hoping to learn the route and get a good time in the future. I'm surprised they never brought back these, like, Cyclop monsters in any other Zelda game. They might have brought him back in the Game Boy Advance, like the Four Swords Adventure, but I'm not entirely sure on that. For the longest time, Minish Cap was the only Zelda game I didn't play as a kid. That one was always very mysterious to me, because that was the only Zelda game I didn't own, but I owned all the other ones, which I found pretty weird. But I finally got to play Minish Cap on the Wii U Virtual Console about 5 years ago, and I never finished it, but I really liked the music. I think it's the Zelda game that doesn't get talked about too often, which is the Minish Cap we're talking about. I only played it once, so I don't really... If I were to play it on the channel, it would be more of like a blind playthrough. Now, there was a secret I wanted to do in this room to show you guys, but I messed it up. I can pretty much press the switch right there in the middle where all those anti-fairies are, and spawn the chest a lot more earlier, but I messed up the trick for that. Alright. This is the big key. I think in later games they called it the master key, or the boss's key. Honestly, I think this game aged pretty well for the 2D era. Like, this game still holds up today. Doesn't look bad. I think the only... Oh, we got the bow. I think the only Zelda game that hasn't aged really well is Ocarina of Time and Majora. I mean, you can agree to disagree with me on that, that's completely fine. But I just never thought... Any N64 game for me has not aged really well, which is unfortunate, but... I mean, the N64 was pretty much Nintendo's first jab at the 3D concept, but... Well, technically, I think the 3D started with the Super Nintendo era, when they started utilizing the special effects chip. But, I don't know, I could be wrong about that. Yeah, this room always gave me a lot of anxiety with all, like, these, like, cannonballs flying in my face. Now, unfortunately, those pots don't one-shot kill these red Cyclops, which I kind of wish they did. Oh. Alright. Ah, almost got it. I was trying to kill them both within the same first try. Alright, I gotta have to make sure I have enough arrows. Alright, I think we're ready to go. This is like one of my favorite boss fights because you get to move around a lot. Now, my old method of fighting this guy was waiting until they all got in like in a straight line, but over the years I've just kind of stopped caring. Now, I do have to be careful because I don't want to like waste my arrows or anything. Yeah, these guys move pretty quickly. There we go. Thought I was gonna die there for a second, because he was like hovering over my head. Alright, well that only took like 5 minutes, jeez. This is a short dungeon. I don't think I've ever completed the dungeon that fast before. You won the Pendant of Courage, take it to Sahasrara. 2 pendants remain. I always found his name was weird, I could never pronounce it. But until recently, when I heard someone say Sahasrara, and I'm like, oh, that's how you say his name. I could have just stunned this guy with a boomerang, I don't know what I'm doing. Alright, so let's go see Sahasrara the Elder. And he will give us a really cool item that will make this game a whole lot more easier. It's kind of weird how, like, I didn't talk to him beforehand, so he's kind of just, like, now meeting me after I've contained the Pendant of Courage. But, alright, so we got the Pegasus boots. So now we can move around a lot more quicker in this game, which is a lot more convenient, I find. Alright. Got some bombs. Some more roops. Another more roops. Alright, so now I have to go for the second pendant, which is the blue pendant. And I don't think you can do these out of order, not that I'm aware of. I usually go for the green, then the blue, then the red. Oops. I think my favorite dungeon of the 3 is probably the last one, because I just like Death Mountain in this game. I think it looks really cool. Alright, so let's go get that special item that we need to enter the second dungeon in this game. Alright. I don't think they made traveling any more convenient than in any other Zelda game that came after this. I think the Pegasus boots is very overpowered because of that. Because honest, like, imagine if the Pegasus boots didn't exist in this game. Like, Link would just have to walk constantly and it would be much of a hassle. So I'm very glad they added the Pegasus boots feature in this game. Alright, so let's get the Book of Medora. Oh, this is the wrong house. My bad. I'm not really a fan of those, like, prize games or anything because I'm really bad at them. Alright, so we need this special book from right here. You found the Book of Medora. You can use it to read the ancient language of the Hylia. So what this will help us do is it'll help us enter the second dungeon, which is right below me in the desert. So we'll be making it over there in the next episode. Remember to stay awesome and enjoy gaming. I'm out.